Hello, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very warm welcome, and you're very, very welcome to the SimGrids Endurance Cup Season 2. We are here at Zolder in Belgium. It's David Christie and Connall Courtney bringing you through all of the action over the next 5 hours as we do qualifying and then into the race itself. Connall, a very, very good afternoon to you, buddy.
Very excited for this one, thank you, David. Yeah, Zolder, of course, we know this track. It's been one of the originals, the OGs in Assetto Corsa competition, and look at that horrible chicane there. It really is one of these Marmite tracks for people, but it is pretty much guaranteed action around here.
Now, I'm already getting the sense, Connall, that this is, you mentioned the word Marmite. Do you love it or do you hate it?
I strongly dislike it, shall we say, for driving.
Wow, that was such a political way to think about that.
Yeah, I'm not the best around here, but as always, drivers always like tracks that they go well at, and I don't go well around here. So if I improve my driving, I think I'll find more favourable at Zolder. But I think the first ever race of the Sprint Cup Season 1 was here at Zolder, and it was an absolute cracker. So no doubt we will have the same.
Yeah, very much looking forward to it. This is, of course, round 3 of a 5-round series here in 2020/2021, the second season of the Endurance Cup here on the SimGrids. And a big shout out to our partners, Coach Dave Academy and Thrustmaster, as always, supporting us and making us be able to bring these events to you. The story so far then is that GTWR Simulator Giant Truck Racing in the Lamborghini Huracan currently topping the championship, 172 points from Food Critics. Now that is a very interesting name. 144 points, and then ambassadors for Renvelten in the 999 car on 130 points. But with another 3 rounds to go, including today, Connall, this is such an important point in the championship, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, the runaway train that has been the GTWR team over the past few SimGrid series, I mean, of course, they are really World Cup champions, and they look just indestructible there, apart from a little blip at Bathurst. But yeah, I mean, look at that consistency already starting to form a pattern. Imola, they believed in interviews after the race that Imola would be their weakest track, and they'd feel a lot stronger at Zolder. So if their weakest track is where they bag a second, yeah, that can be worrying for the rest of the teams. But it is over the course of 4 hours, this race. Traffic will be an issue, of course, and it's very, very difficult to get through here, especially if there's multiple cars stacking up. So it could play a factor in this race, but no doubt the GTWR boys, they weren't happy. They've been on a tremendous run of form, so bagging a second place, as good as it was, they love to win. They're here to win, so they definitely have the targets on their back.
Yeah, they certainly do, because of course they currently are the most consistent team in this championship right now. The 157 of Jordan Sherritt and Tobias Pfeffer in the lead of the championship. But I think as we are at Zolder here, I know that you've been brushing up on your pronunciation and your best Belgian accent, Connall, so why don't you take us round a BMW lap of Zolder?
So here we go, Zolder, one of the trickiest tracks in this SEC calendar, I believe. As we peel into turn 1, track limits may be an issue here. As we peel into turn 1, as you see, you don't want to go too far. I'd say you're going to dip a toe in the gravel, and you're going to sacrifice a lot of time. As we turn into turn 2, again out wide, a little bit of sausage curve action there on the outside. You don't want to get involved in that, or you'll find yourself straight lining into the gravel. That would seem to be a pattern of this track here, as it is very, very narrow. Again, trying to get the exit. The exit will be key around here. And then we get into the famous, it's almost a motocross jump, this sausage curve, if you get it wrong. Here and here. You go straight line in that, you're going to find yourself catching some airtime. Very difficult to get right, but again, corner exit is crucial. This chicane, not really a big of an issue because there's no sausage curve, but track limits will be an issue there, because you will see drivers taking a lot of curb on that second part of the chicane. As we go down into Butte here, it's a little kink, it's not much of a corner, but we get into this tight hairpin. We see a lot of passing action here as we go into the final chicane. Now the final chicane, is a tricky one. Of course, there is a little bit of ripples and sausage curves on the inside, but if you hit that, just like James Parker did, and this BMW absorbs the bumps well, you can find yourself not really being affected by it too much. So as a lap is older, we have one of the shortest laps on the SEC calendar, so we will have a lot of lapping action, but that also brings a lot of traffic too.
There we go, lovely, and I absolutely love the pronunciation of the one corner name that you threw in there. Well done, buddy. Great track guide there from Connall Courtney, and we have to say a big hello to the BMW Twitch channel that we are also simulcasting to today. Let's talk a little bit about that, because obviously we had the BMW track map. Our highest placed BMW at the moment in 12th place is the number 62 team of G2 Esports. Now that is Niels Naujoks and Arthur Kammerer in that BMW M6 GT3, and that is actually quite a decent result for them, because the BMWs is not a car that we tend to see at these endurance events here in the sim grid. They do tend to go for the Lamborghinis and the Mercedes. So to see that in the top 15, and they've had a decent run. They had a 4th place last time out, and a dismal start, taking 32 points from that. They've got the potential to actually get themselves much further up the grid today, Connall.
Yeah, I would say they really are dark horses. Of course, they had a bit of a struggle at Barcelona, but the 4th place really was, how should we say, a better reflection on their true pace there at Imola than their outside the top 30 at Barcelona. I mean, they just had an absolute nightmare. But yeah, definitely Imola was the true statement of their intentions, and especially around here, we've got another couple of tracks that should, in theory, suit the BMW more than it did around Barcelona. So watch out for that G2 Esports team.
Track Lizard on our YouTube chat said they can't believe they went to Belgium during a pandemic. Well, see, this is the great thing about sim racing, the fact that we can travel virtually all over the world and visit these glamorous locations, all from the comfort of our own living rooms and sim racing dens. So it's fantastic that we can share all this action with everyone, both on YouTube and on Twitch as well. But we're starting into qualifying then, and the car's already making their way out onto to track. I was getting a little bit excited there, Connall, because I saw the action on track, and then I looked to our live timing, and we're still just 30 seconds away from actually going into to qualifying. Let's have a little look at the times just now. 1:27.789, the fastest time right now, and that is from the number 34 outfit. Of course, that is, that's a fairly fast time there, Connall.
Yeah, as we've come to expect. I mean, there's some high level teams in this series, and no doubt we will see the old favourites in here, the old war horses that are currently leading the championship, with a few honourable mentions, with a few wild cards thrown in there as well. But here comes one of the other BMWs, the reigning champs of the Endurance Cup, Pro Ren Welton team. Now, it's funny, their sister team, shall we say, the ambassadors for Ren Welton, are actually 3rd in the championship. So defending number 1 plate, of course, we've seen they didn't even get to the first corner at Barcelona without being caught up in an incident. And pretty much summed up their race at Barcelona. Came back a little bit with a 13th at Imola after a poor qualifying. But yeah, definitely the Ren Welton Pro team, they are carrying that number 1 plate. And they're carrying it with pride, with 18th in the championship at the minute. But again, as we say, with this sort of short series, 5-round series, it's one good result can have you back in contention.
Now, Connall, this is one thing that I really struggle to understand. For viewers just tuning in, don't worry, you've not missed the start of the race. This is just the start of qualifying, and you've got about 18 cars all trying to fight for the same 15 metres of tarmac right now. Qualifying is so important, just for that point that you just made there. Into turn 1, it's always, a complete gamble, isn't it?
Yeah, clear air is a big benefit in the first few laps of a race, but when you're in mid-pack, just anything can happen. You can do absolutely nothing wrong and get caught up in a multi-car accident. So yeah, of course, qualifying is when you get a track, especially like say for instance, first few corners of Barcelona or Imola or here as well. Tricky, tight, technical corners for the first few corners. That's just pretty much going to be guaranteed some form of incident, and we've seen it. Of course, we've seen a few incidents over the past few races in the first laps that have really wrecked a few teams who really had a chance of a good result and wrecked their chances right from the get-go.
Yeah, for sure. You just saw a glimpse of the number 24 car. That is the Zancho Rocket Esports number 24. Our guests for this weekend. They're actually a reserve team, and some big names in that team this weekend. Michael O'Brien and Pietro Fittipaldi, the one and the only Pietro Fittipaldi behind the wheel this weekend. So that is awesome to have someone of that calibre kind of in our championship this weekend, Connall.
Yeah, it's great to see, and it just shows that they want to test themselves against this quality field here. I mean, look at the drivers that we have, and just look at the times that they're already setting in. I mean, they're doing 27s already, which is absolutely disgraceful.
Yeah, it shows a sign of intent as well, because obviously getting straight into the 127s, that was the fastest time they were able to set during the practice period, during all of those laps they were able to get in here, and within 2 laps they're able just to fire straight in. Do you think that ever during practice, Connall, there's maybe a little bit of sandbagging going on, trying to disguise just how much pace you potentially do have in the cab, or is there no benefit to that whatsoever?
I think there is some elements of sandbagging, but I don't really know why, because I've never got it. I've had it in real life series too, where we've had practice sessions where people have been sandbagging. Now it can look like sandbagging when you're out in free practice, and while people are trying to work on quality setups, you're sitting on an old set of race tires and you're testing out your race pace, which isn't really sandbagging. But when it comes to people actually sandbagging, I don't understand it, because it's not as though from practice to qualifying, if you do set a fast time, people will look at that and it'll be a mental thing of, I can't match that time, or I'm going to have to match that time in qualifying. But at the same time, that's only mental. It's not as though the drivers are then going to see that time and then find 8 tenths or 9 tenths from just seeing that. So sandbagging is not my preferred tactic. I think if you're out on track, you shouldn't waste a single lap and get as much data and information as you can.
I'll be honest, I like it as an excuse to hide the fact that I'm a very, very poor sim racer. So I just say that I'm sandbagging all the time, and you don't see my true potential. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
I've been sandbagging in this sim for about 6 months now.
15 minutes left to go in qualifying here at Zolder for the 3rd round of the Endurance Cup Season 2, and it is Mikhail Statsenko in the 149 Chaz Heat Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo, sharing that car with Francesco Dondi, currently in pole position, 127.405. In second place, just behind him, is the 191 Ferrari of Marek Schintz for Racing Line Motorsport 191. And again, Connall, what is absolutely absurd for me, and I keep saying it, and I need to make this clear. This isn't me just blowing sugar to the sim grid here, but the fact is we have got 28 cars within 1 second on qualifying. I really struggle to, and I do, sim racing over a lot of different championships. I struggle to ever see such a level of consistency and competition. It is just frightening how fast these guys are.
Yeah, and this is only 6 minutes gone in the session. Now, you do want to set a banker lap, and you want to set just a lap that you have as that buffer, so as if everything else goes wrong in qualifying, you have that as a backup plan. But it doesn't seem this way with these guys, because they've just gone out and been absolutely rapid from the start. Now, it does take some drivers, depending on your style, a few laps to get up to speed. It takes some others, as we see Alric Enslin certainly up to speed, and Coach Dave Academy Lexus and 888 goes to pole position with a 27.2. Now watch out for that Lexus. The Lexus does go quite well around this track, and no doubt Alec Enslin goes well around this track with the time he's just set. But yeah, some drivers take a while to get up to speed. Some can go out in the first lap and be on the pace. Seems like most of these drivers are on the pace pretty quickly, because 6 minutes isn't a long time in a qualifying session. Already we have some rapid times.
For sure, my friend. 12 minutes hits the clock, and at the moment, you kind of feel like it's building up to a crescendo right now, because the cars are just getting faster and faster. I've got absolutely no doubt we're away to break into the 126s in the next 12 minutes, because Alaric Enslin in the Lexus, the 888 machine, is currently in pole position there with a 127.2. That is, of course, the Coach Dave Academy 888 machine. Coach Dave Academy are having quite a few cars in here as well. They've got the 505 Kunos XCDA Lexus RCF, and I'm delighted to say that that means that Mike Yao from Simpler Race can bring back the good old hashtag Blame Josh throughout the race. So we'll see that, I'm pretty sure, throughout there. Now you see in there a gaggle of cars heading into pit lane. That's a Honzig in the 39 machine. They're in the. I love how the team's called Food Critics. Is there any reason why they're decided that they're not going to be Renvelton, or is this just a different brand for the team?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Probably because we already have 2 Renwelton teams. I don't know, but yeah, we might actually have to chime in and ask why the Food Critics. Maybe it's just their love for food. I don't know. But
maybe they've just outgrown it and they've decided to branch off into their own new brand. But yeah, they've doing very well in the 39 outfit. Currently 10th place and just half a second off of your pole position right now. Because look at that, I did call it. I did say we're way ahead into the 126s, and Mikhail Statsenko is doing me very proud right now. 127.093 in the Mercedes right now. So this track is getting very fast.
Yeah. It's very impressive that we're into the 26s. Of course, track optimum. It is 15 degrees air temperature, so it's quite cool, which will obviously help the engines a little bit. Track temperature is 21 degrees, so we're getting just about perfect conditions here. 10 minutes to go in this session, and no doubt, I mean, I'm not surprised that Statsenko is the first guy into the 26s. He is one of the standout drivers of this field, and certainly Jas Heath, of course. That team will be looking to rebound a little bit. Of course, they were third in Barcelona. Looked like championship challengers. Slipped away a little bit at Imola though with a 9th place. But they are on 129 points compared to the championship leaders 172. So not completely out of the question for Jas Heath to make a comeback in this championship with the pace they show. Currently 4th in the championship. So we'll see what they can do. But certainly that is a statement of intentions there with Mikhail Statsenko's times.
And it's a much needed statement of intention as well, Connall, purely because, as you said, sitting 4th place in the championship with just 3 rounds to go, including this one, it's now or never for them. You know, that gap is 33 points. They need to pull the trigger. In fact, sorry, no, my maths is completely wrong there. It's 43 points is the gap for there. So not only do they need to make that statement of intent, they need to make sure that the 3 cars in front of him, that's ambassadors for Renvelton, the 999 car, the Food Critics number 39 car, and the GTWR Simulator Giant Truck team, the 157 team, that they have pretty dismal races to make sure that they can make inroads in this championship. I'll be honest, I don't know if that's going to happen from the GTWR Simulator team. You'd be a silly person for not guaranteeing them another podium today.
Yeah, and just as you said that, Tobias Pfeffer goes to the top, 27.069.
Called it.
200ths of a second ahead of Mikhail Statsenko. Statsenko in the pits right now, certainly you would expect firing up his last run of the session, and who will be able to back into the 26s. Of course, as we know, we've just got it pointed out, yes, thank you, Michael, that Statsenko used to drive for GTWR. If you watched the World Cup, Statsenko was a driver for the GTWR guys, and now he has switched, jump ship to Jas Heath, as we've got. And this is what we're talking about, David. We're talking about the championship contenders so much, but I did say watch out for a few wildcards chucking themselves in here or there, and now we have 11th in the championship Expat Sim Racing team in that Audi with a 127.033 on provisional pole.
Yeah, and we saw them fastest in pre-qualifying practice as well. So they've obviously got pace. They had a dismal first round out, 22nd place, but then taking that 7th place out last time at Imola, that's boosted their championship. They could easily bounce themselves up into, say, maybe 6th or 7th position by the end of this race today. But it's not over yet. We've still got 7 minutes left to go in qualifying, Connall, and this track is obviously just getting faster and faster. I mean, again, another absolutely absurd point. 1.76 seconds splits 38 cars. I've never seen anything like it. And Jardier looks like he's on a very, very fast lap just now. Jaroslav Honzig, for the food critics, number 39 Mercedes, is making his way around the track just now. So they're currently at the moment down in 12th place. So, I mean, you'd expect a lot better performance from them. And then you see the time, it's only 0.4 of a second off.
Yeah, I mean, 2/10 will put them up into the top 5. That's how ridiculous we're talking about with these times. You go from 13th to 5th with an improvement of 2/10. So Jardier comes over the line. Where does he go? He goes up to 4th. He improves by 0.3 of a second, and that is more like it for the food critics team. But yeah, I use the example quite a lot of racing at Brands Indy before, and it's 40-something second lap, and get my pit board in one lap of qualifying, seeing P5 on the pit board coming around 40 seconds later and seeing P16. So, and that is a short track, but this is a lot longer. It's 120 or for a lap time. So, yeah, it's even more impressive.
Just watching Lars Kisser there, he was 2/10 up and he was looking very, very good, but he's lost all of those gains as we see Leonardo De Alcamo for the Jean Lacy Esports Academy outfit just making his way into pit lane as well. This is going to be the final roll of the dice now for qualifying, because it's now or never. It's a case of jump into the pits, get your final setup, get your final set of boots on, get your final bit of fuel in, and get out there for your final qualifying laps. And we're seeing that with these drivers. It's still the number 34 of Konstantinos Kontaglanis that is on pole position for the expat sim racing Audi team. And the rain is going to be in 10 minutes, but I think there's going to be a huge sigh of relief that rain is quite likely not going to affect them. However, remember, that is just a guide of what happens at that 10-minute window. We may very well start seeing some light spots of rain starting to fall in the next couple of minutes there, Connall.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think the drivers will be aware of this. It doesn't look as though they will get away with it, but we don't know what will happen then when the server restarts for the race. But yeah, I think, Steve, we've just hit officially the closest field that we've seen in the sim grid. We generally see a second covering the top 20 or 22, 23. 1 second covers the top 34.
It's just, like I say, I've never seen anything like it where you get that closeness of competitiveness, and it gets to the point now. This is like the bleeding edge of pace. So Statsenko, I'm just hearing him here from Michael, that is 1/10 up, and he was already 1:27.093 in the Yas Heat 149 Mercedes here, and he is coming through the final chicane, still green just now, so it's all on Mikhail Statsenko. Is he going to prove me right? Is he going to go sub 127? He comes across the line. What can Statsenko do? He does it! Pole position, 1:26.976. I'm not going to get too excited because I definitely don't think he's going to be the only one to go sub 127, Connall. Here we go. This is going to change very, very rapidly. Kirill Antonov in the like and subscribe team 560 goes across the line, and we'll see what he can do in just a second. This is Tobias Pfeffer coming round the final section of the circuit in the 157. Your championship leaders right now, and yeah, this is looking very, very fast for Tobias Pfeffer. Currently 0.2 of a second up right now. He's on the run down towards the final chicane. The GTWR simulator giant truck machine trying to make that statement of intent and trying to get themselves back up there. But it's still just three positions to get there. Goes across the line. What can he do? There we go, 1:26.850. This is going to evolve very, very quickly, Connall.
We're getting in our ears. Mikhail Stasenko is green again. He's up on his delta, and so is Contagianis. This is ridiculous here as we get into the final 3 minutes of qualifying. So all the drivers here that we are watching, we're keeping an eye on, will get another lap, and will get 2 laps. Stasenko will get 2 laps if he so desires. He's lost just a little bit of Contagianis. Stasenko, what is he going to do? He comes across the line and he goes pole position. 9 thousandths of a second separates Stasenko and Tobias Pfeffer, and this really is just crucial, probably the most crucial qualifying session of the season, and it could very well be pivotal towards the championship swing.
Here we go. This is watching Christopher Tvarin for the smoked salmon and fries 58 outfit. I'm loving all these food name teams. It's making me hungry. But is it just me, or does that that car look like an advertisement for M&M's? It's obviously based on the that looks like the iconic old Benetton outfit that he's got on there. But anyway, Christopher Tvarin is making his way around the second half of the circuit just now. Currently 3/10 behind the pole sitter right now. The pole sitter is Mikhail Stasenko for the 1:49 outfit. The 4th place of Chaz Heat in the championship, 1:26.8, and we have only got 1.5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session, Connall. I've got a feeling I'm going to be out of breath by the end of this next minute.
Yeah, we're getting down to the final stage. Yellow flag is out. It is gone away already. Green is again with us, but I am a little bit surprised actually as we see the Jensen Team Rocket. The 22 car comes across the line, 15th place at the minute. 15th place, only half a second off, which is ridiculous. Jumps up 1/10 he gains on that lap time and gains 5 positions. That is how close we are dealing with. Half a second covers the top 14 drivers, which is just absolutely insane. I'm a little bit surprised actually. Probably one of the biggest shocks here is Vasily Onufriev in the Like and Subscribe team in that Lamborghini is 35th. Which is crazy. And now Pfeffer is on a lap time here, 2/10 up on his delta right now. We're getting to the final sector of this track, just needs to keep it nice and tidy. 2/10 is a nice wee buffer around here, but it can very easily go away, especially in this last chicane if you don't get the run to the line. Tobias Pfeffer, it's going to be an important pole position, if not maybe for track position, more so for men. And
he's in the pits. He's billed. Oh, that's such a shame, because I was hearing that he was about 1/10 up. So unless he's lost that on that final section there, Connall, that's a bit of a head scratcher for sure. As we see again the Jean Lacey Esports Academy number 72 of Leonardo D'Alcamo making his way around. He's 2/10 up right now, and 2/10 really is something that he can improve on. Comes out of that corner, looked a little bit scrappy out there. I think he's still got about a 1/10 of an advantage. He's on the run down to the final chicane. The checkered flag has flown though into the final chicane, and this is a bit of a dark horse as well. Leonardo D'Alcamo, we haven't really seen him in the top 10 throughout qualifying. Out the final corner, what can he do as he comes across the line? It's only enough for 11th place there, but I say that he's only 4/10 up. 4/10 behind your pole sitter.
A lot of changes happening now in the mid pack. We've got Michael O'Brien actually jumped 14 positions there in the last stages. So yeah, 26.8. You called that we were going to see a 26, which is absolutely ridiculous. And as you said again, we were going to see multiple 26s. That was a fantastic battle between Stasenko and Tobias Pfeffer. Pfeffer didn't get that lap time, of course. He bailed into the pits. That might just be a little bit of confidence thing. He knew relatively that qualifying was a good thing. He had a delta that was up, he had time in the bag, and he thought to himself, yeah, we're good here, let's just keep ourselves good for the race. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see. But Mark Shins now comes across line in that Ferrari, is sitting 12th and Goes for
Wow, what a lap from Marek Schintz, right to the death there to pull that one out in the Ferrari, because he was sitting, what was that, around about 15th position, and takes himself up to 4th place. So 4 different manufacturers on the top 4. You've got Mercedes, you've got Lamborghini, you've got Audi, and you have got Ferrari. This is how qualifying has done and dusted then, ladies and gentlemen. Mikhail Statsenko in the 149 machine takes pole position from Tobias Pfeffer in the 157 Lamborghini. It's then in 3rd place Konstantinos Kontagiannis in the Audi for the 34, and what an effort from them in the expat sim racing team. It's then Marek Schintz in the 191 Ferrari. Then you've got Kirill Antonov in 5th place in the 560 Mercedes. Jaroslav Honzik, aka Jardier, is in 6th place for the, what are they now, Food Critics team, and then it is Christopher Tverin in the Ferrari in 7th place in the 58 Ferrari. Great result for them as well, Connall. And then rounding out top 10, you have got Daniele Vidimari, Alara Kensling, Luca Tavanari in the Mercedes, the Lexus and the Ferrari respectively. John Monroe getting in 11th place there. Good to see that jump up. We saw that, Connall, you pointed that out just on the second to last lap there. Again, another absurd fact, and you've mentioned this throughout qualifying. 37 cars, 1.044 second.
Yeah, so you can be a second off what is a ridiculously fast lap time, 26.8. You can only be a second off, which really, when you count it in your head, not a massive gap. And then you find yourself in 37th on the grid, which is just a testament to what we see in this series.
Amazing stuff. So what we've got in store for you, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to take a 30-minute practice session that is going to go on just now, and then after that we head into the 4 hours of Zolder, and we will be here live bringing you all of the coverage, both here on YouTube as well as through the BMW Twitch page as well. A very good afternoon to everybody over on the BMW page. We will make sure that we give your guys and girls a big hefty shout out throughout the course of the afternoon. Connall, just looking back to the championship here, the 157 JTWR Simulator Giant Truck team of Jordan Sherratt and Tobias Pfeffer there. It's difficult to look past them this afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, but with the way Statsenko is currently driving, he's desperate to beat them. I mean, it is his old team, and there is pride involved in these series. So, that Yassi team, they need to rebound, really, and if they don't do it here, their chances of finishing first in this championship really do start to slip away and look very, very unlikely unless there's disasters for the other 3 teams. So, yeah, it's going to be crucial for Yassi here to make some points up in the championship.
Well, there we go. We will take a very, very short commercial break, and when we come back, we will have more build-up for the SimGrid Endurance Cup Season 2, Round 3 here, the 4 hours of Zolder.